Hello, welcome to the Bearded Horror Review. My name is Dan, aka the Boogey Man, and on this show I will watch a horror movie, either a classic or a new release, talk about some good points, talk about some bad points, if there are any of either, give it a rating out of 10 if I remember to do it, and let you know if I think the film is worth a watch or not, in my humble opinion. And before we carry on, I've got something in my eye. Okay, let's go. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking about Final Destination Bloodlines.
Death is coming for our family.
So Final Destination Bloodlines is the newest release in the Final Destination franchise. It is the 6th of them, I think. I don't know. It's here. I've got a bad memory. And it's been a while since we've had a Final Destination film. So yeah, let's talk about it. So in this movie, we have a slight update to the formula of the Final Destination franchise because it was getting a bit stale. This time we have a young woman who's in college. She is having nightmares of her grandmother being in a horrific, fatal building collapse. But that never happened. And we find out that the grandmother had a premonition like all the other people in all the other Final Destination films, and she saved her and a load of people from this building collapse, and she since then has been avoiding death. Well, unfortunately, she passes away, and that means that death is now coming for every single person in that family that should have died.
Death is coming for us because we were never supposed to exist.
And it's definitely a much needed twist and update on the formula because, let's face it, it had gotten stale. And you know what? It works really well. Before we carry on, straight away, I'm going to say I liked this movie. This was a good, fun movie. But for me to talk about it in any depth of why I liked this movie, I'm going to talk about a few things. So if you don't want any spoilers at all, here is your spoiler warning right now. But, you know, because I'm not going to give away spoilers. I don't do spoiler reviews, but I like to talk about things. So if you don't want to know anything at all, here it is. Yeah, you get it. You get it. You get it.
Good luck.
So, Final Destination Bloodlines. This was a really good Final Destination movie. We'd gotten used to the films just being, how are we going to kill these people off in extremely elaborate ways? The formula was the same. Someone had a premonition, someone stopped the accident from happening, and then those people slowly died. But in this version, obviously, it's the fact that none of these people were involved in the big, massive thing that killed a bunch of people all at once. The mother of the family who had that original premonition went on off, had kids, and she had this obsession for years of trying to keep herself and her family alive. And that caused a lot of trauma in this family. So yet again, this film is a little bit about generational trauma. We have this a lot. It's just a thing right now. But in this one, it works. I get it. And yeah, so you know what? This film is a good time. It's been a while since the Final Destination films were the whole thing a good time. Like, everything was happening. We liked all the characters. It was interesting. We didn't understand exactly what was coming because, you know, the formula was so baked into the films. We knew everything that was going on. And this one, like I said, it updates it ever so slightly enough for it to be a little bit more fresh, a little bit more original. And I gotta say, some of the practical effects and some of the kills in this were really, really fun. I really enjoyed some of the moments in this film and the subversion of expectations, and it was just a good time. Like I said, it was entertaining. It was just, yeah, switch your brain off, watch Final Destination. What Rube Goldberg machine is going to kill these people? And for once, since, 3 maybe, the characters weren't awful because it got to a point where they were awful people and I just didn't really root for them. One of the things about the first one especially is, you know, the people in there, even though there was some obnoxious teens, they were, you know, you were rooting for them. You wanted them to cheat death. And then it got to the point where it was just like, I want to see these people die. But in this one, you know, that's not necessarily the case. There are some people that you're like, this person doesn't deserve to die. None of them really deserve to die. There is some kind of generic cannon fodder. There was a lot of characters in this film compared to previous. The previous ones, there'd be about 5 or 6 people, so you'd have these 5 or 6 elaborate death traps. But in this, there's like 8, 9, 10 people. I didn't count, so. But there's a lot. That being said, it is still a Final Destination film, so it's not gonna be mind-blowing other than the first one and the opening scene of the second one. Let's face it, you know, they did become kind of a more just like, yeah, this is a popcorn movie. It's not mind-blowing. And there's some things about this which were really good, and there's some things about this, for me personally, were negative, and there were some things that were just like, yeah, whatever. But like I said, the kills and stuff, some of the kills are really fun, and they do kind of freshen the formula a little bit. I did a trailer reaction to this, to the Tattoo Parlor trailer that was a couple of months ago now, and I did call some of the stuff that was in that. And this is one of the problems with this film. If you've seen all the trailers, you've seen a bunch of the stuff that happens in this film already. They do kind of spoil some of it, and that's the problem is part of the fun of this is seeing all the stuff kind of link up, and you're trying to figure out what's going to happen, what's going to kill these people, what's the big elaborate thing that's going to happen. And 2 of the trailers especially seem to give a lot of stuff away. Trying to be a positive, negative, kind of thing. Like I said before, some of the practical effects that happen in this film are really good. There are some really good practical moments. There's some really kind of clever build up. It doesn't just happen really quickly. It does feel like they had put some good thought into this.
Maybe Death's not actually coming for our family. Because that would be crazy.
On the flip side of that, there is, I think the biggest problem that the Final Destination films kind of fell into was the use of CGI and big, huge moments on green screen and stuff. Because it got to a point where it felt fake. There was no weight behind it. And you can see in some scenes, you're like, this is on the volume, or this is on like a giant green screen. It doesn't feel as real as some of the other stuff. The original kind of thing, the original film, a lot of the kills were really kind of grounded, and they felt more like they were trying to make it look like accidents, and they kind of escalated more and more. And then on the later films, they did get absolutely ridiculous, like some guy getting his guts pulled out of his butt. Let's face it, that death is memorable for all the wrong reasons. But this one, they kind of bring it back a little bit. They kind of take the time to make them a little bit smaller, a little bit more personal, and they do the thing of, they don't trick the audience, but they pull that setup and they do some of that stuff where it kind of makes you think it's going one way and then it goes the other. They do that really well in some of these parts. Before we carry on, guys, if you can leave a like and subscribe, it's a little thing for you, but it really helps out the channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. There is one problem with this film though, and that's the pacing. It felt like this could have been a lot shorter to me. There was one particular scene in a hospital that felt like it took a really long time to get going. And I will, in films like this, suspend my disbelief. Of course, in reality, you couldn't walk through a hospital, go through every door that you wanted to, break things, steal things, go into rooms. MRI machines are just completely empty and no one's getting scans or anything. There's only one nurse. People just let you do whatever. Yeah, you have to kind of accept that in films like this. But when it goes on for too long, it gets a bit tedious. And I understand that Final Destination is all about the setup, but the setup got really kind of boring in one scene. And then on the flip side, it ends way too quickly. It is really abrupt. The big set pieces seem to be earlier in the film. It seems like they had all these great ideas and they just couldn't figure out how to wrap it up quickly. And this goes back to a point I made earlier of there being a lot of people in this. Like I said, there's about 8, 9, 10 people maybe in the main cast. And obviously they're getting killed off one by one. That takes time. That is a lot of screen time, especially when you've got to set it all up. So the deaths kind of start ramping up a bit and they start getting a bit not bigger, but quicker and with more people involved. that's one of the downsides of this. And I'm not going to give away any endings, who dies, who doesn't die, or whatever like that. But there is like all these big elaborate things earlier in the film, and then later on it just seems like they're like, bing, bang, boom, get them done, get it out of the way. We need to finish the film, wrap it up. And that was the one kind of thing I was like, you spent God knows how long in this thing, but now the actual big climax and you're rushing it? Come on, guys, slow it down. If anything I've learned through my years is you don't rush the climax. Take your time. Grow up, Dan. But yeah, on top of that, like I said, I did enjoy this. It was just fun. Like I said, it wasn't going to blow your mind. It's not going to blow your mind away. Some of the kills are really interesting. There are some really fun moments that make you go, that's gotta hurt, and that was really fun, and that was well set up, and that was really well thought through. There's a particular thing at the start. Like I said, there's a building collapse at the start, and there's a particular thing with I'm not using the swear one. I'm using this one, and that hurt. It hurt me. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And there's just some really good stuff like that in here. The drama kind of side of things, it's kind of there, but you're not really there for that. It was very surface level, and it's not something you haven't seen before. One thing I would say is that, again, this is a very, very minor spoiler, so if you don't want to know, skip ahead by like a minute. But the main character seems to be able to figure out the deaths that might happen because she's good at maths and she's studying maths at university. She hasn't had a premonition. She dreamed of her grandmother's premonition. She doesn't have any of her own. She just is good at maths. And it's a throwaway line that explains why she's able to do this. That's dumb. But yeah, anyway, go out on a positive. I did enjoy this. It was a load of fun to just switch my brain off. And like I said, I overthink things, but that's kind of what I do. If something breaks the disbelief in me when I'm watching it, or it pulls me out of that kind of fantasy enjoyment, I do have to call it out. But what did you guys think of it? For me, it's a 6 out of 10. It was enjoyable. It's not the best in the franchise, but it's certainly not the worst. It's one of the better ones. It's up there with 1 and 2. It really is. It's probably top 3 for me. But yeah, what did you guys think of it? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Go over and follow me on social media. And until the next time, guys, happy watching.